Yo, what's going on with you guys? My name is Kenneth, aka 1 Week, and today let's talk about ONE FC, the difference between ONE FC and Bellator. But before that, I would like to mention it's now okay. Yes, I did cost a lot of money for this one, and I'm just going to show you a little quick about this one. So Philippine peso to US dollar. I just spent 2,400 pesos for this one, so it is roughly about 45 to $46. So this is quite a fortune for me to spend in my early years of my career, but still, yes, it's now okay, and I'll be making new videos about this one again. So now let's get started to our topic. I just want to share with you guys because yes, it was a struggle for me not having a phone. So let's start. ONE FC, the main difference between ONE FC and Bellator, I noticed that there's one quick way to explain this one. So uh, the UFC graduates, yes, I just searched this one. Yeah, Bellator fighters that went to UFC. So this guys, Benson Henderson, a former champion, yes, he was successful in his early UFC run, but yeah, his fortune wasn't that great in the UFC after that. Lost to Anthony Pettis, and he went to Bellator. So next one, Rory McDonald. Yes, Rory McDonald is a great fighter, but after his loss to Rob Lawler, and next one, yes, he also went to Bellator. Next one, Ryan Bader. Yes, he's like the one of the greatest journeymans in the 205 light heavyweight division. And yes, he went to Bellator. Phil Davis, yes, also a journeyman in the UFC, and is not yet close to the title. I guess he's not just that in that high level compared to the Gustafsons, Teixeira, those guys. Even though he beat Teixeira, he doesn't really can crack the title shot. Next one, Roy Nelson. Yes, one of my favorite fighters. Always looking for a knockout. Big belly, just like mine before. Yeah, just kidding. Yeah, Roy Nelson, very great heavyweight, but yes, he wasn't really that on that high level. Next one, yes, Gegard Mousasi. Yes, he is now the middleweight champion in the Bellator, but in the UFC, yes, he had a rocky career in the UFC. But before the UFC, he had a great run in Dream, Pride, those days. He was an early MMA fighter, and he had a rocky, like bouncing back and forth in the UFC in his UFC career, and that's the time he went to Bellator. And also Matt Mitrione. I really like Matt Mitrione. His skill, his persona, the way he talks, I like it. But yeah, he wasn't really that great, and he went to Bellator. So I'm not hating Bellator, but these guys here, they were once UFC great, but I guess the UFC is just on another level compared to them. But yeah, some fighters the UFC kicked them, but these fighters, I think they had a chance, but they want to be in Bellator because I think the money is just great in Bellator. And yes, I really do think the money is greater in Bellator compared to the UFC because UFC fighters are complaining about their salaries, their fighters payout. But in Bellator, I don't hear those things. I think uh, they made a pretty great deal to these fighters. And yes, if I'm a fighter, I will go to Bellator if the money is okay with Bellator compared to the UFC. Even though the UFC have more prestige than Bellator, but Bellator cares about their fighters. Also UFC, but um, they take care more of their fighters compared to the UFC. Then that's what I think, and that's the reason why I also think that these fighters are going to Bellator. And maybe another factor, these fighters can hang in there with the top guys, and that's the time that they go to the Bellator. Maybe. Yeah, just maybe. And next one to ONE FC. I noticed two ONE FC guys. Ooh, ooh, okay. This is news. I see this one right now. Sage Northcutt open to signing with one championship. So ONE FC is creating big changes in their game today. Signing UFC greats. They're with not even a rocky career. For example, Demetrius Johnson. Wow, like wow, Demetrius Johnson. He is one of the best fighters ever in the UFC. But uh, the UFC traded him with Ben Askren. So Ben Askren, a great athlete, but he hasn't really tested yet because uh, his former opponents weren't that on that high level. Yes, they are high level, but you know the star level, no, they're not in it. But still, they traded Demetrius Johnson to ONE FC and Ben Askren to the UFC, and I think it's still a good deal. It's still a good deal for them. For Demetrius Johnson, yes, he's the only fighter, and he broke Anderson Silva's 10 title defenses with him having 11 title defense and with knockout of the night, fight of the nights, submission of the night victories, and the latest submission of the night ever in the UFC. So the first ever flyweight champion. He was just traded after he got lost uh, to the reigning champion Henry Cejudo. And yeah, it's a pretty bummer for the UFC for doing that. But still, Demetrius is happy, the UFC is happy, and ONE FC is happy. So yeah, I'm glad that they are happy. Next one, Eddie Alvarez. Yes, Eddie Alvarez, one of the greatest fighters ever. Also an old fighter, just like uh, just like Gegard Mousasi, and he just went to the ONE FC. I think ONE FC's also care to their fighters, just like Bellator. Next one, I think this is pretty weird. Misha Tate explains her role with one championship. I searched this one. Misha Tate is the new vice president of ONE FC, kicking Rich Franklin. So Chaudhry being the head, the president, and Misha Tate being the uh, ONE FC vice president. So Misha Tate, former champion. He wasn't really like a really strong champion. His first title defense was just chaotic versus Amanda Nunes. But still, she's a great fighter. Her wrestling is good compared to other women, and now uh, she retired, but now he, he's getting a role in with ONE FC, and I think that's pretty good for her. So you can see here, Bellator fighters, they are the UFC graduates who doesn't have who doesn't perform well in the UFC after in their uh, first stages of their career. Yes, and that's pretty weird. For example, like Frank Mir, yes, one of the all-time greats. But you know, the UFC they don't like old fighters who are just being KO'd and submitted all the time. Like Tito Ortiz, Rampage Jackson, and Bellator is open for them. And Bellator did a very great job for marketing those guys because they were UFC fighters. And for ONE FC, I'm glad because they'll be getting stars from the UFC like Johnson and Alvarez. And I think it is the reign of ONE FC. Oh, sorry. The reign of ONE FC will continue next year, and I think it will be great. And I think they'll be signing the UFC flyweights, the UFC flyweights, on other fighters in the UFC, especially those guys who needs a fatter paycheck, a bigger paycheck. And I think ONE FC is here to help them, or maybe they can go to Bellator because I think Bellator is also great. So you can see here, wow, Eddie Alvarez. I just can't imagine Eddie Alvarez winning the Bellator championship. Now, then he is a former UFC champion. Then he will go to win the ONE FC fighting championship. and that's really weird. And he is really one of the best of all times. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, leave like, comment, and subscribe. So 1 week out, peace. Also, I would thank you for supporting, guys, for this 2,200, 2,500 views. And thank you so much. And 1 week out, peace.